Hello and welcome. In this tutorial we're going to cover slicing and we're going to perform this operation on both lists and strings. Slicing is probably not the most important thing to know as a beginner, and I doubt that you will be using it a lot, but it's good in terms of understanding the syntax and how Python works actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a list, and I'm going to use the variable L, and the list is going to contain 10 numbers starting from 10 up until 100. So this list, as just as a reminder, a list is just, it contains elements separated by commas. It starts and ends with square brackets. Now what slicing is basically, well, the same way you take a slice from a piece of cake, the same way, well, it's not exactly the same, but it's similar. You take a slice of a list, and this can be done on string as well. What do you do when you take a cake? Basically you make two cuts, and what's in between is your piece of cake, right? So you make one cut, which is the starting position of your slice, and another one which is the basically the where your slice ends. Now Python also needs these two positions. So basically what it needs is which is the index of the element where you want the slice to start, and where do you want the slice to end. So what I'm going to do is, just for an example, I'm going to take the slice from the beginning, so starting from index 0, and again index 0 is this one. So I'm going to make a comment to make it a bit more easier for you. So this is the 0th element, this is the first element, and this is again how Python, so to say, counts. So again, as mentioned in the previous tutorial, it's a bit different than compared to humans, but the 0th element in the list is 10, and so on. So now I want to print the first 5 elements. So I want to print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's easy to understand that, well, we need to start at 0, right? But how we indicate the ending is basically we need to go one more element up. So although we need this 4th element to be the last one, we need to indicate Python to go to the 5th one, because the last one, basically where the slice ends, that one is not taken into account. So if we decide to print this, so 0 to 5, basically what it does is starts at 0 and goes to 5, but that one is not included. So basically it takes the 4th element as the last one. So this is just something that you need to keep in mind when using slicing. This is something that, now one more thing that is important to know, if it starts from the beginning, you can basically not indicate 0, you can just leave it blank. And Python knows that, well, since you have not indicated the starting position, you probably mean that you want to start from the very beginning. And what if I remove the ending position as well? Well, it would just print the whole list. So basically what Python does is, well, you have not indicated the starting position, so I assume that you want to start from the beginning, but you have also not indicated the ending position, so I will assume that you want to end at the very end. So you want to include all the elements. So how would you, for example, take from 30 to 80? Well, you need to start at element 2 and you need to end at element 8. So the index 8. Index 2 is the starting point and index 8 is the ending point. So that's our, so to say, slice. So again, the starting point is included in our slice, the ending point is not. It goes up to that element, up to that index, but it doesn't take that one into account. Now, why I said that this is similar to having a string? Well, let's create a sentence, which would be, let's say just hello world. We can perform the exact same thing here as well. So H is our 0th character, 1 is basically our E is our first character, and so on. And we can also print, for example, if we want to print the first 5 letters, that would be basically from 0 up until 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if we write it down, 0 to 5 and print it out, we get the word hello. Now, the last thing that I think is very important to cover is stepping. And what it means is, at the moment, we indicated the starting and ending position of our slice, and basically the default is it takes everything between those two intervals, right? Now, what you might need is so-called stepping. You might want every second element. Now, let's try to get every second element in our list. So from 10, let's say we want to get 10, 30, 50, and 70. So first of all, our interval would be from 0 to, let's say, 7. So I'm going to change the index here from 0 to 7, but then I'm going to add another colon, and I will specify 2. So this is not the default, this is something that I'm adding up now, which means take every second element starting from index 0 up until but not including the 7th element. And if I print this, I would get 10, 30, 50, and 70. The last thing regarding strings would be, I'm not sure if it's how often you will use it again, but it's good to know. And again, this is a tutorial for beginners. You can also specify the index from the backward. So from the back to the front, which means this element we can call it by basically specifying 9, so the 9th element, but it is also the -1 element. So the word world, we can slice it from the back as well. What it means is we need to start at -5. So this is -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. So if we start from -5 and then we ask Python to slice it until the very end, I'm going to remove this print, then we should get the word world. And this is how slicing is done. Again, it's not very difficult to understand. I'm not sure how often you're going to use it, but it's definitely good to know, and especially for indexing part, because, well, it's just that Python works has a bit different syntax compared to human. Again, the 0th element is for us the first element, but we need to adjust to the Python language. That would be all regarding this tutorial. I hope this was clear. If it's not, then just leave a question in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.